3, 2, 1. Yo, what's happening, guys? It's your boy Wolfie here. We are back. Now, if the first thing you can do on this video, as always, is hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and also hit that bell so you get a notification every time I do drop a video. But as always, you guys know that I do upload at 11 AM every day UK time. And also my Twitch is down in the description below. I do stream 5 days a week on Twitch. My Twitch is what's made me venture into YouTube, if you get me, because my Twitch channel is really successful in my opinion. My humble opinion, of course. So if you could go and drop that a follow, we're well over 14,000 followers on Twitch now. So absolutely big ups for that. And we are very, very, very close to 5k subscribers. I think as you're watching this video on Sunday morning, we've probably hit the 5k. So I'm recording this on Saturday morning, just before I'm about to fire up my stream. So I'm guessing if you're watching this, big ups for the 5k subscribers. We are well on the way for 10k before FIFA 21. So that absolutely blows my mind. If we can actually get to 10k before FIFA 21 comes out, I will be absolutely mind blown. Now, the first things first, in today's video, what I've got for you guys is the two formations that I use. Well, I use three really. I use 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1, and 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. But the two main formations that I use are the 4-4-2 and the 4-2-3-1. So what I'm going to do, guys, is explain to you the custom tactics that I use for the 4-4-2 and the 4-2-3-1. And then I'm going to explain to you why they are the most used and the most overpowered formations on FIFA 20. Not even on FIFA 20. The 4-4-2, excuse me, and the 4-2-3-1 have been really overpowered, really, for the last 2 to 3 years. I say ever since FIFA 17, ever since like Foot Champs, and people have been getting into it. Some people used to play like narrow used to be really good on excuse me, on FIFA 17, but in like the last 2 years, particularly, especially since actually I'll say FIFA 18, FIFA 19. Excuse me, and now FIFA 20, the 4-4-2 and the 4-2-3-1, in terms of like pro level, have been the mainstay formations that pros go to. It's the two formations I use. I'm actually veering towards the 4-4-2 now because I just like having two strikers, if I'm being real. I think it's so effective on two strikers. So, anyway, let's get down to the nit and gritty. The custom tactics that I use for the 4-2-3-1 and the 4-4-2, they have changed a little bit because I'm just trying a few things out. Wait there, I'm on the wrong team. Hold on, if you give me 2 seconds. How'd you change teams on it? Yeah, squad selector in it. By the way, remember, chat, every video I do is one take, so it's why I do mess up a lot, because I like to keep it, I feel like with one take it's authentic, and you guys know that it's real, if you kind of get where I'm coming from. So that's why I do it. My tactics have changed a little bit, because I'm trying a few things out. Now, the 4-2-3-1, what I now play is I play pressure on heavy touch, 5 width, and 5 depth. The reason for this is because I feel in the 4-2-3-1, because there's only one striker, I feel like the pressure on heavy touch is perfect, because if I'm only playing with one striker, then I want to try and be as aggressive as I can with the defending, if you kind of follow me. So because there's only one striker, and there's 3 cams behind that one striker, if you press with that one striker and the 3 cams also press, it's actually a really effective pressing formation. And the 5 depth is because I like to play aggressive, but on FIFA 20 you just can't play like 6 or 7 depth. You just get counter-attacked too much. That's coming from a pro player, by the way. Like, I'm a pro player. I promise you, if you play on 6 or 7 depth as an average FIFA player, you will get wrecked on. Okay, so lower your depth to about 5. It's just the most balanced. It's not too aggressive and it's not too deep. Sometimes I used to play on 3, but I found it way too deep. And then I used to play on 4. And I noticed that the difference between 4 and 5 isn't really that much. So I play on 5 just because it's a little bit more aggressive. I always play on balanced offensive style unless I'm like chasing a lead or trying to counter-attack. Long ball's really effective for counter-attacking because your players will make a lot of runs in behind. It's really good in terms of if you're soaking the pressure up and then you have the long ball tactic on, because then your ram and your lamb will bomb forward, so you can play an LB and wide ball over the top. But balanced in terms of like when you're starting from minute 1, it's probably the most balanced offensive style to use. One thing I would say though, if you guys aren't good at defending, okay, with the 4-2-3-1, go on balanced and play on 4 depth. It's what I've used a lot this year, balanced and 4 depth, so you won't go wrong with it. Obviously, pressure on heavy touch does what it says on the tin. If you your opponent makes a mistake, your team will automatically go to team press for like 5 seconds. So if you're not good at defending and the team press leaves a lot of gaps for you in behind, then it's not going to be worth it. It's not going to be worth doing. But what I use is the pressure on heavy touch, but balance is just as effective. Drop back I don't like at all, it invites too much pressure. Press after possession loss is a very effective tactic, but it drains the stamina a little bit too much for me. Now the players in the box, this is where it changes a little bit. I'm always, you know, experimenting with these custom tactics really on the players in the box. The width is always 5, because I like to just be smack down the middle with it. Not too wide, not too narrow, just down the middle. Players in the box though, I always experiment with. Sometimes I go on 6 to get that player. You see on the 3 circles, You see on 5, no one attacks, no one goes into the 6-yard box, right? But if you go on to 6, you see how many players go into, you see how you got one player that goes into the 6-yard box? So because of that, I always think, man, that could really work then as an effective tactic. But I always end up going back to 5 just because it seems just to work. So if you're looking to try and score more goals, if scoring goals is a problem and you're struggling to create chances in the 4-2-3-1, I would recommend going up to 6 on the players in the box. But if you're like me and you're a very skilled attacking player on FIFA, leave it on 5 because trust me, 5 is fine where it's at. Corners and free kicks, always lower it down to 2. You don't want it any higher or lower than that. Now, in terms of the player instructions, I have get in behind and stay forward on my striker because this is the custom tactics I use from minute 1, okay? And then all 3 of your cams, you're going to have on balanced, everything's on balanced apart from the support crosses where it's getting to the box across. By the way, when I say balanced, I mean it's on the default. You don't touch anything. But the only thing you want to touch on all 3 of them is on the support crosses, getting to the box across because you will score more goals. And you'll just be more potent in attack when you have them on getting to the box across. It's a really effective style. And then your left CDM for me is always on balanced attack just to try and what I call like a ball playing CDM. He's the Rude Hullet for me. He's the CDM that's going to get forward and try and score some goals. De Jong's my CDM that's just an out and out CDM trying to break up the play and stay back while attacking. And then both of your fullbacks be on stay back while attacking and overlap. On both of your CDMs, by the way, have cut passing lanes and cover centre on defensive position. And their default one will be cover wing, so you want to change them both to cover centre. Now, why is the 4-2-3-1 so OP on FIFA 20? Well, for the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years on FIFA. Oh, I'm about to sneeze. Bloody corona. It's not really, I've got hay fever and I'm about to sneeze. Oh. Excuse me. I'm back. Don't worry. It's not COVID. I've got really bad hay fever. Now, the 4-2-3-1 has been and will always be one of the most balanced formations on FIFA. The reason being is because it's perfect, okay? You've got the back 4, which a lot of people go to. You've got the 2 CDMs, which helps out a lot of people in terms of defending. And then you've got the 3 cams that are in a perfect position, okay, in terms of attacking and defending. And then you've got the 1 striker. And the reason being that it's so effective is because it's got overlaps everywhere. You've always got what I call a triangle of passes, okay? So you've got, look, you've got the right back, Ronaldo, De Jong. You've got Van Dijk, Sandro, and Hullet. You've got Hullet, Mbappe, Neymar. You've got R9, Mbappe, Neymar. You've got Ronaldo, Mbappe, De Jong. You've got Hullet, De Jong, Mbappe. You know, you've always got these 3 triangle passes, which for me is the reason why it's the most effective formation. A lot of people struggle to create chances with the 4-2-3-1, and that I do agree with. If you're not the most skilled attacker, if like defending is what you're strong at rather than attacking, you will probably struggle with the 4-2-3-1. Because what happens with the 4-2-3-1 when you come up against a good player is the 1 striker will get very isolated sometimes. If the guy's good at defending, the 1 striker will get isolated and they will cut out the pass to the cam. Because the most important position in a 4-2-3-1 is the middle cam, okay? That middle cam is by far the most important. That's the one you're going to want to keep an eye on. So, if you're struggling with the 4-2-3-1, I'm now going to show you the formation that I now mainly use, which is the 4-4-2. Balanced, 5 width, 4 depth. I up the width to 6 and the players in the box to 6 also because in the 4-4-2 I like to be a lot more attacking. Corners and free kicks once again are both on 2. The player instructions, okay, get in behind and come back on defense on your 2 strikers. The comeback on defense is actually an offensive move rather than a defensive move because they're in a better position to receive the ball off your midfielders and in a better position to start the counter-attack. So even though it looks like a defensive move to have your 2 strikers on comeback on defense, it's actually an offensive move, believe me. Your left mid and right mid, you're going to want to have them on comeback on defense. Support runs, you want them on getting behind and getting to the box for cross. Your left centre mid, once again, you just leave them on completely balanced everything with then cover centre. Your right centre mid, your right centre mid, what I use is the CDM. You want to stay back while attacking and cover centre because you want one of your centre mids to stay back while attacking or else you will get overrun. Your right mid is the same as the left mid. You want it on comeback on defence, getting behind and getting to the box for cross. Your right, both your fullbacks are on stay back while attacking and overlap. Now, why is the 4-4-2 also one of the most OP and one of the most used formations by pro players on FIFA 20? The reason being is because it's the perfect balance, okay? The 4-2-3-1 is actually more favoured defensively, whereas the 4-4-2, I'd say, is more balanced than the 4-2-3-1, okay? You've got your flat 4-4-2, you know? 2 strikers, 4 midfielders, 4 defenders. You've got One thing that's a big thing with the 4-4-2 is you've got 2 strikers, which is huge on FIFA 20. Because the defensive AI is so good and the attacking AI is so dumb, having 2 strikers just creates more of an opportunity to score more goals. And it's something that I've always vouched for. I think, me personally, I play better in the 4-4-2. And you also get the width from the left mid and right mid. Now, a little bit of key tips with the 4-4-2. Try not to drag out both of your centre mids, because the difference being between the 4-4-2 and the 4-2-3-1, in the 4-4-2, there are obviously 2 centre mids, whereas on the 4-2-3-1, they're 2 CDMs. So you can get away dragging out the CDM a little bit more. But with the 4-4-2, when they're both centre mids, they're in a very sticky situation. If you imagine looking at that formation on the screen, you then take away one of them centre mids, you've got a big gaping gap onto your back 4, which you don't want. But as a whole, I would say 4-4-2 is better for someone that's struggling attackingly, like as an attacking player. If you're someone that like attacking you're fine, but defensively you struggle, please try the 4-2-3-1. It's the most balanced formation for that. But yeah, that is going to be the end of the video, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button. Drop a comment also on other videos that you would like me to do. And also hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that bell and make sure you follow my Twitch. And I'll love you guys forever. Mwah. Peace out.